Okay, everybody, over in this section, we're going to do another DC Art Academy session. We're going to get to see a real live creative team do some art, talk about their creative process. So what we have up next, you can see it's the team behind Earth 1, Volume 1 for the Green Lantern. It is the team of Gabriel Hardman and Corinna Bechko. So please give them a big round of applause. Gather round and welcome them, please, to the stage. Gabriel Hardman, Corinna Bechko. All right, come on up.
Okay. We couldn't hear you.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. Make yourself right at home. And you've got your mic. Make sure that works. And, yeah.
I think so.
Yeah. Okay, good. All right. So come on over this way. We're going to get to see some real art be put up to the screen. So once he gets started, and by the way, it's artist discretion, whatever you want to draw. You know.
Okay.
Okay. No
All
rules.
right. Well, we'll draw something from the Green Lantern book, since this is DC Comics.
Okay. So I guess I should ask you questions as you do
Yeah.
this. Okay.
You could ask what I'm drawing.
What are you drawing?
I'm drawing Kilowog. He's a
That-
character in our book.
That is a fantastic choice.
Yeah.
He's my favorite character in our book.
Yeah, I agree. Me too.
So usually when we're interviewed, people ask us how we work together as a couple.
Yes.
So I'm not going to ask you that
Okay.
because
good.
I already know how we work together
Yeah.
as a couple.
No, totally.
I'm going to ask you why The Wizard of Oz figures so prominently in our discussions and also in other works like David Lynch cites it and a lot of innovative people. So why is that?
I think it's because it's such. There's something very elemental and iconic about the Wizard of Oz, and that speaks to people in a way that they can't quite put their finger on. And I think that as a reference point, it works better structurally and the kind you know, like. Well, I don't know. What do you think? I mean, like, I think that it's something that ends up coming into our work and obviously other people's work in surprising ways, and you can kind of see the influence there, even if it wasn't the intention in the first place. Don't you think?
I think. Do you think that it's also because it has a hopeful message yet is deeply cynical?
I suppose that's true. I mean, I don't know how deeply cynical it is so much as it's. I don't want to disagree with you here.
You can
But
disagree.
I think that it is. I mean, I think that there's a kind of darkly satirical element to it that's not
Maybe
entirely
that's
apparent to everybody when they're initially dealing with it. I mean, also, I suppose this book is based on the color green, right? I mean, there's big green
That's a
stuff
good
in the
point.
Wizard of Oz. That's the single most superficially visual, way to handle it. But it is something that more than Star Wars or whatever else people like people's modern reference points are. I think that it.
Mission is not complete.
I don't know. There's just something about going someplace and a journey, and having to get from one place to another,
and making loyal friends along the way.
Yes, it's very much about that. I mean, and I think that especially the kind of more action-adventure books we've done, one of the biggest, most important elements are is the friendship and loyalty and corny stuff, even when we set that against much darker things.
Well, I think
I think that's what The Wizard of Oz is about as well.
I think that's right, and I think that's the one thing that unites pretty much everything we've both worked on together.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Although, I mean, some of the, our Invisible Republic, our image book, is maybe a little more on the cynical side than the hopeful friend-oriented side. But
I suppose that's true, but there is a very loyal dog-type creature in it who will
That's true.
never give up their friendship. So.
oh, that's true. Much like
No?
Toto from The Wizard of Oz.
Exactly. And I think that you picked a character that perfectly illustrates this to draw.
Yeah. Well, he's not a dog. I mean, he's.
No, I'm saying a loyal friend.
Yeah. Okay, that's true.
Hal is also a loyal friend.
But I think that he's not. I mean, I think that they're not. It's not like he follows Hal Jordan around. He's his own guy, and he has his own ideas about stuff. And I mean, and I like the opportunity to approach a character that people feel like they have very specific ideas about, like Kilowog, and make him something different because he's not so much a different character as he comes from a different circumstance than, like what he's lived through in his life is different than in our book than what he has in the regular DC continuity. So it kind of makes him a different person.
That's true.
He's not a person, I guess, but a different being.
Well, I mean,
Maybe everybody's a person.
I think everybody's a person. It doesn't matter if you're a person, you're still a person.
Yeah.
Which is also another important lesson from The Wizard of Oz.
Yes. Or maybe Star Trek 6? I can't remember. I don't know. One of them. I don't know.
Same thing.
Yeah.
So what else do you use as reference points when thinking about how the art intersects with the writing?
Lighting, right? The first thing I think about that is as far as the drawing as opposed to the storytelling, and the art is mostly about storytelling. We both wrote the book, and so all of this is kind of built in, but the first thing I think about is how the shot is lit, and Green Lantern is about people who wear things that glow on their fingers, right? So like everything
Change a lot how you approach it.
What's that?
Does the internal light source change how you think about it then?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and it's a way to be expressive. It's a way to bring a kind of expressionism into the way that you portray the characters, and everything, the angle, the lighting, all of these things are saying things. They're all telling a story, and there's no part of making a comic that isn't telling the story. And except, everything that, every choice you make. That's why I don't think that the art and writing of a comic are, you can't take them separately. They're both the same thing. They're both telling the story, and the kind of modern concurrent idea that somehow that the writer is the one who tells the story, and the artist is somebody who's just there to sort of a functionary who's there to draw some pictures that illustrate the artist's story, is wrong. A comic artist is not an illustrator. They're a storyteller, and I think that that's something that's not particularly well understood in the current way that comics are thought of.
Well, don't you think it's just a sort of easy shorthand people fall into using, and it's sort of a lazy way to think about comics when comics could be more complex?
I don't know. I mean, I think that it's just the fashion. There was a time in the 80s when people didn't think that way at all. When certainly no one thinks of Frank Miller as just an artist or a writer.
I should hope not. That would.
And
a problem.
and a lot of those people, there was a. I think it's just. I don't think it's a built-in thing. I think it's the way that people end up thinking about it at a particular time.
So do you think the pendulum will swing back, or do you think we need to fight the power and make it swing?
I sit around talking about this stuff all the time on things when people give me the opportunity. So, I guess so, But, I think that you need to understand you don't need to understand the medium, right? But if you're going to try, it's not the worst idea to listen to people who actually do it for a living.
Well, I would posit that understanding the medium would lead to a deeper appreciation of the medium and therefore more enjoyment of it.
No, I think that's definitely true, but I also don't think that as an audience you need to understand how things are made. You know,
That's
I think that you know, I mean, I heard an editor from Marvel say that it's not important how things are made, just what they are in the end, right?
Well,
but
I
I don't
think you
I don't
can,
entirely agree with
well,
that. So
I think you can certainly enjoy something without understanding how it's made.
Yeah,
But I
That's
think
what
that
it
it adds
is,
a
you know,
level
that
of
stereotype
of,
girl that
I don't know,
the boy she
investment
likes
if you do
passes
understand
her
it.
yeah, no, I think
Yeah,
that's true. I think that's
I-
true. And it's also just enriching to understand how things are made.
I-
And that's
I-
why we're doing this
You're away
art
from
demo
your
right
family.
now.
That's
you're away
true.
from anything back home.
I spoke
You're
to
away from
someone
your
this
normal.
weekend who did not know
so
that there
bringing
was a
that
colorist
here
involved in
is kinda
comics.
normal.
Really?
I said,
To see something that you
"How do you
watched
think it
on
gets
TV
colored?"
or
And
you
he said,
dealt
"I
with
never
at
thought
home, so
about
it
it,
kinda
I just
brings
thought
that
it
home
happened."
aspect back.
Yeah, well, I mean, on one hand, I kind of get it though, because you
believe in being
want,
the force behind our
you know, you
forces,
want a
and we
piece of
do that by
fiction to
partnering
be
up with a lot
an
of
experience,
entertainers. And
not
so
and
partnering
you know,
with
and
Disney Comics is
you
fantastic.
can
We have
understand
a
how
lot
it's
of
made,
wonderful
but you
fans
can
of
also
Disney
just
Comics,
experience
and
it
this
as
is a
if
great mix.
it's
We not only
something
have
that you're
illustrators
going
and
through,
artists,
right?
but
And you don't
also
want to
actors
break it
and
down. You don't want it takes the magic out of it, maybe. But we're here to take the magic out of it. That's like that's the essence of what we're doing right now. So you know.
Well, he did say that he might write a letter to the next colorist of a comic he buys because now he knows they exist. So
Oh well, good. You
I thought that
you
was
did
really
something
nice.
for
Honestly shocked by how many
you
Flash
know,
fans there
Hopefully
are.
Matt
It's
Wilson or
so
whoever it
incredible
is
to
that
see
they,
maybe
you
even
know,
Jordan, who
yeah,
colored
maybe,
this.
or Jordan Boyd, the colorist of Green Lantern Earth One. Yeah.
We should probably mention.
Yes, who did an excellent job.
We have been meeting a lot of Black Lightning fans here at the base camps. We visited 5
How much
camps
more
in
are we?
3 days.
I think we
and
have
it's
5
been really,
minutes.
really
Oh,
awesome.
really?
All right,
just
so- I'm
like,
hearing the
done.
responses
But your
from
image
What-
is
like
done,
that
so
one-on-one.
I think it's time that we
It's been awesome,
we get to the giving away
life-changing
part.
experience.
So
Oh,
I'm gonna
okay.
come up for this.
It's
So
really eye-opening.
I don't know if you realized that you were going to get a chance to get this art. Did you know that?
Our show has.
You had not been here before,
and
so
it
we're
gives
going to
me
give this away. It's an
really warms my
original
heart to
piece.
know that so
It's a
many of our
really
friends
killer
have
Kilowog. I love it. I'm so glad you picked him. But I have to ask you a
to
Green
see
Lantern
something
trivia
that
question,
kind of
so I'm
reminds
going to
me
go
of
with a
home.
pretty
We
easy
brought
one.
hats to give away, goodies,
Who did
prints
what
that were
former
the
Green Lantern
monographic.
did Hal
We've also
Jordan
flown
inherit his
in
ring
Batman's
from?
own Batmobile, the Tumbler.
That is
and,
correct.
yeah, it's been an amazing experience.
He was front and center, right? I mean,
life-changing
it wasn't a
to
really
be-
hard one,
to go on
you
this
know.
No,
but
that was
I
kind of
didn't-
easy. So I think he forfeits.
You
So
wanna do-
just ask somebody else.
Okay, you give him a follow-up question.
Oh,
That's
all
like
right,
Challenge
fine.
stage. What's the second question? What-
It's like bringing a little slice of home, and
I
I
don't
know
know.
that it
No, all right, you can have it.
Yeah, yeah. That's why we
Fires
give it
thought.
to him, because it's too much trouble to try to come up with
Yeah,
something
I
else
know.
all the way
It's
through.
All right.
I'm just very pleased.
Do you want me to
with
do
both
another
of
one in
them.
5 minutes?
If you want a 5-minute one, yeah. Let's do it.
Okay.
Let's do it. Yeah.
It also means, you know, for those that are
So that's
coming here
yours.
to
You got the
take
really
time out of
killer
their
one, so
schedules
don't go anywhere.
to spend time
I
with
just
us.
also wanted to say that
You know,
I'm
there's a
really
lot of
happy you
respect
brought
and
up The Wizard of Oz, because it's a personal favorite of mine.
That's
Uh,
fantastic.
I have cats named Tip and Ozma at our house.
Oh.
They're brother and sister, so it's almost okay.
Very
If
good.
you don't know that, one of the very first transgender characters in literature history is in The Wizard of Oz.
Oh, yeah,
The
right,
Princess
right.
Ozma spends part of her story as a boy.
Yes,
I
that's
love
right.
that.
That's right.
I think
Yeah.
that's fantastic.
And you talk about a crazy series of adventures with unfettered creativity. It's that, and half of them are written in Los Angeles at a house called Oscott.
I'm Danielle.
Okay.
So
Wait,
there's-
where is that? What?
Well, it would have been near Hollywood and Highland.
Okay.
He had a famous garden, of course, that was destroyed for a subdivision. But
Oh, yeah.
Like
right.
most of Los Angeles.
exactly,
Yeah.
I
exactly.
just want to thank all the male and female service members.
All right,
for
so what do
all
we
that
have
you've
here?
done.
Hal Jordan.
Okay,
The,
absolutely.
the main guy.
Classic.
For
I
Hal
could-
Jordan, we're going to ask you the hardest trivia question. You ready for this one?
Well, he's asking the easier one because this is a shorter draw.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's what I'm telling him. Okay, so but I
Had
just want
less
to see if
time
there's
to
anyone
run.
out there because it's just a good factoid. Most people know him as a test pilot, right? That's the job he's most associated with. In the 1960s, we gave him a more realistic job. Can anyone tell me what
know.
job Hal Jordan held? Actually, he had two jobs that are meant to be more realistic. So either one of them.
One of them.
No, that's
No,
not the
well,
answer.
it's
we're
kind of
looking for.
embarrassing. It's like a. It's
We're
a.
not allowed to use dark magic here.
What would he
There's
sell?
just letter X on fire.
What?
Some people just want to watch
What was the answer?
Welcome to the
Not a mechanic.
No.
No. You gotta keep thinking. It's a job that you would just, look, what could be sexier than being a test pilot? What? Vacuum cleaner salesman? No.
It's
Worse
something-
than that.
You've probably
What?
bought some of these here
Yeah.
at this con.
Yeah. Well, that's one
Yes,
of the two
hot
answers.
dogs. But
right.
really?
One, he had two jobs. What? sells paper. What's playful? Okay.
Like
The answer he's thinking
Like The
of
Office?
is he sold something that's playful that you might find around here. Toy salesman is correct.
yeah.
But the answer I was looking for, he was a salesman for the Evergreen Insurance Company. Yes, we once tried to improve Green Lantern by making him an insurance agent. Sexy,
Which is,
right?
and we've followed through with that in
Yeah,
our book,
yeah.
and that's what Green Lantern Earth One is about. He's a workaday
Yeah,
insurance
he's a
salesman.
toy salesman, exactly. Yeah. All right, so you're the winner. Okay, so since we're wrapping up, is there anything, other projects you'd like to talk about, or any other experiences here we should mention?
We would love to be able to promote the thing that we're working on right now, but we can't. 'cause
Okay,
it's not
so we won't do that. I won't put you in that trouble.
Stay tuned
Yeah.
for that.
Yeah. But by the way, this is Corinna Bechko and Gabriel Hardman. Obviously, go find their other work out there, support them as artists. And again, give them a big round of applause. This was incredibly illustrative and all done very quickly and under duress. So
Okay.
thank you very much.